High above central Vietnam, often wrapped in drifting clouds and mist, there's a place that feels completely out of sync with its surroundings. Stone castles, cobblestone streets, a Gothic-inspired European-style village perched on a mountaintop in the middle of a tropical jungle. One of Vietnam's most visited attractions, Ba Na Hills, is also one of its most misunderstood. Some travelers describe it as a magical escape. Others dismiss it as kitschy or artificial. But very few people actually understand why Ba Na Hills exists in the first place. Because Ba Na Hills isn't just a theme park in the clouds. It's rooted in colonial history, climate science, and one of the most ambitious tourism engineering projects in modern Vietnam. And once you understand that context, the entire experience changes. In this video, we're breaking down how French influence shaped Ba Na Hills, what reflects real history versus modern reinvention, how you can actually get there, and, most importantly, what all of this means for you as a traveller today. To understand Ba Na Hills, you have to go back to the early 1900s, during French colonial rule. Vietnam's lowlands posed serious challenges for Europeans at the time. The heat was relentless, the humidity was intense, and tropical diseases, including malaria, were a major concern for French officials, engineers, and doctors. The climate wasn't just uncomfortable, it carried real health risks. Following a model already used across colonial Asia, the French searched for cooler, higher elevation locations known as hill stations. These were places where Europeans could recover, work, and live with reduced exposure to heat and disease. Ba Na Mountain sits 1,487 meters above sea level, offering cooler temperatures, cleaner air, and dense forest cover that create a dramatically different environment. Conditions here often linger in the low 20s Celsius, even when the coast below is sweltering. In 1919, the French began developing Ba Na as a mountain retreat. Roads were carved through the jungle, and dozens of villas, gardens, wine cellars, and leisure facilities were constructed. This was never meant to be a public tourist destination in the modern sense. It was designed primarily as a private refuge, built for comfort, recovery, and the preservation of the colonial elite. The original Ba Na Hills looked nothing like what you see today. There were no massive stone hands, no fantasy castles, no grand European squares. Instead, Ba Na was quiet and understated, with French villas scattered along forested paths, designed to resemble small alpine settlements. But history was not kind to the site. After the French defeat in the mid-20th century and decades of conflict in Vietnam, Ba Na Hills was largely abandoned. With no maintenance and limited access, the jungle slowly reclaimed it. Buildings collapsed, paths disappeared. By the late 20th century, Ba Na was largely reduced to moss-covered ruins hidden in the mountains. In the late 2000s, Ba Na Hills was reborn. Vietnamese developers recognized the potential to transform the mountain into a world-class destination, one that blended French-inspired design, European fantasy, and modern tourism infrastructure. What exists today is not a historical reconstruction of the original colonial retreat. It's a themed interpretation. The French village, the cathedral, and the public squares are designed to evoke the feeling of Europe, rather than replicate it with museum-level accuracy. And that distinction matters. Then there's the Golden Bridge, the image that put Ba Na Hills on the global map. Known locally as Cao Vang, this 150-meter-long walkway sits nearly 1,400 meters above sea level, often appearing to float through rolling mountain mist. From a distance, it feels unreal, like a scene pulled straight from a fantasy world. Two massive, weathered hands rise from the mountain, their cracked, moss-covered surfaces making the bridge feel ancient at first glance. Almost mythical. But that effect is intentional. The hands are not carved from stone. They're built around a steel framework and mesh, then finished with fiberglass and decorative materials to recreate the texture of aged, moss-covered rock. The goal was never authenticity, it was illusion. Opened in 2018, the Golden Bridge has no connection to the French colonial era. Instead, it reflects a modern shift in Vietnam's tourism approach, one focused on bold design and emotional impact rather than historical reconstruction. Designed by Vietnamese architects, the bridge is meant to symbolize the mountain itself, offering a gift to humanity, a golden ribbon suspended between earth and sky. The hands aren't gods or giants, they're an extension of the landscape. For travelers, the message is clear. Bana Hills isn't about historical accuracy, it's about imagination, atmosphere, and how a place makes you feel. The goal isn't to teach history, it's to leave you awed, present, and fully absorbed in a moment that feels suspended between reality and dream. One of the most impressive and often underestimated parts of Bana Hills isn't the village at the top. It's the journey that gets you there. Bana Hills is home to one of the most ambitious cable car systems ever built. Some routes stretch beyond 5.8 kilometers, gliding across deep valleys and rugged mountain terrain. At various points, the system has held multiple Guinness World Records, not as a marketing tactic, but as a result of genuine engineering constraints. There was simply no other practical way to move large numbers of visitors up a steep, jungle-covered mountain. The cable car does more than carry you upward. It moves you through changing ecosystems. You start in the humid lowlands, where the air is heavy and tropical. As the cabins climb, the forest grows denser, waterfalls appear below, and the temperature gradually falls. By the time you reach the summit, it can be up to 10 degrees cooler, with clouds drifting past the windows and mist weaving through the trees. What makes this ride special is its scale and quiet. Suspended high above the forest canopy, there's a moment when city noise disappears completely. No engines, no traffic, just wind, clouds, and jungle stretching in every direction. For many travelers, this floating transition becomes more memorable than anything waiting at the top. The cable car doesn't just deliver you to Bana Hills, it sets the tone. Long before you reach the French village or the Golden Bridge, the experience has already begun. This is where expectations shape the entire visit. Bana Hills is not a preserved French colonial site, it is not a historical museum, and it is not designed to deliver a detailed lesson in colonial history. Instead, Bana Hills functions as a high-energy, themed mountain destination focused on atmosphere, views, photography, and the experience of 4 seasons in one day. If you arrive expecting strict historical authenticity, you may leave disappointed. But if you arrive understanding that this is a bold, imaginative reinterpretation, the experience often becomes far more enjoyable. Bana Hills is easiest to reach from Da Nang, though we visited from Hoi An. We booked a group tour directly through our hotel, and the price we're sharing reflects exactly what we paid per person. The tour included round-trip transportation from our hotel in Hoi An, a guide, full access to Bana Hills, unlimited cable car rides, and a buffet lunch that was surprisingly good. Drink vouchers were also part of the package. Each of us received 2 complimentary beers at the Bana Brew House, a welcome bonus after exploring such a vast complex. It's also possible to stay overnight at Bana Hills by booking a hotel room on site. Availability is limited, and additional hotels are currently being built to keep up with demand, which gives you a sense of just how popular the destination has become. The total cost of the excursion was 1,720,000 Vietnamese dong per person, or roughly $67. Prices vary depending on the season and tour operator, but this offers a realistic benchmark. And honestly, the buffet was generous, with plenty of variety, a much-needed break during the visit. Bana Hills does not center itself on strict historical accuracy. Instead, it reflects Vietnam's creative approach to tourism and large-scale visual storytelling. It may feel unusual, and it is undeniably striking, but above all, it is a place that leaves a lasting impression. If you understand what Bana Hills is, and what it isn't, you'll enjoy it far more. Sometimes travel isn't about historical authenticity alone. Sometimes it's about stepping into something unexpected and experiencing a dream in the clouds for exactly what it is. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out the related video on your screen for more fascinating content. Explore our channel for even more exciting videos. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Globe Gazette for more incredible stories. Your support means everything to us. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.